Assassin's Creed is a controversial series. Some absolutely love the games, others think it's gotten a bit stale. Regardless, there's no doubt that Assassin's Creed has become one of the major gaming franchises over the last decade. In this video, we'll be ranking the top 10 Assassin's Creed games of all time. Let's get right into this. Number 10, Assassin's Creed Unity. Assassin's Creed Unity definitely wasn't everyone's favorite AC game. The issue with Unity was mostly on the technical side. A bad frame rate, glitches, bugs, it was just a mess, and on PC, it was a nightmare. Over time, it did get better, but still, Unity stood below the other Assassin's Creed games. The core of the game wasn't awful, but it being a technical mess and being a fairly mediocre game didn't help its cause. I would only recommend Unity these days to the most hardcore of fans. Number 9, Assassin's Creed 3 Liberation. Assassin's Creed Liberation was actually first released on the PlayStation Vita and featured the first female main character. Being on the PlayStation Vita, on a production side, this is definitely far below the other Assassin's Creed games. It's not perfect, but there's some fun to be had. The game was eventually ported to consoles and PC as Assassin's Creed Liberation HD at a budget price point. It has a fairly good story, some solid gameplay, it's worth checking out for fans. Number 8, Assassin's Creed Rogue. Assassin's Creed Rogue was the one AC title that fell really under the radar. It was released in 2014 on the same day as Assassin's Creed Unity, and Rogue was only available on last generation consoles. The game acts as a sequel to Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, and the game leads into AC Unity. For those that adored the naval combat in AC4, there's more of that in Rogue. There are some technical shortcomings with it being on PS3 and 360, however, it was later ported to PC, and that version is very good. The story is very good, playing as a Templar is a unique take on AC. Assassin's Creed Rogue is one of the forgotten AC games. You should really go back and check it out if you're a fan of the series. Number 7, Assassin's Creed Revelations. Assassin's Creed Revelations was the third in the Ezio trilogy, and by 2011, as much as we loved Ezio, we started getting a bit sick of him being the main character in these games. Revelations was still a very good game. It did a very good job tying up Ezio's story arc, but it didn't really progress the series forward in any way. Not that that's such a bad thing. The previous two games in the Ezio trilogy were exceptional, still a good game, just the one that really made it evident that Ubisoft was gonna milk the series for all it's worth. Number 6, Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Assassin's Creed Syndicate was an unfortunate victim of circumstance. The game was released in 2015, a year after Assassin's Creed Unity, and people were just burned by Unity that Syndicate didn't fare too well commercially. And Syndicate was actually a very good game. Gone were the technical issues in Unity. The world looked fantastic, the story was engaging, the two main characters in Jacob and Evie Fry were fantastic. It was just a really well-made game in terms of content and direction. It didn't revolutionize the franchise by any means. There were nice additions such as the rope launcher that makes navigating the world a breeze, but it was still Assassin's Creed, just a really well done one. Number 5, Assassin's Creed. Oh, the first Assassin's Creed game. You can't really say it was a perfect game, but how iconic of a game was it? The hype building up to it, what it eventually spawned is pretty amazing to say the least. The criticisms with Assassin's Creed are pretty evident. The game was very repetitive, not a lot of variety in content. However, in 2007, the game was so unique. And the first Assassin's Creed game did a good job of making the player really feel like an assassin. You would have to find information about your target, take the process very slowly, where now it's not really like that. Assassin's Creed broke new ground, and it laid the foundation for one of the most successful series of all time. It wasn't amazing, but it did what it needed to. Number 4, Assassin's Creed 3. Assassin's Creed 3 was actually one of the most financially successful AC games for Ubisoft. The story is set in the 18th century during the American Revolution. There were a few issues with the game, namely the real-world sections playing as Desmond were pretty terrible, and the payoff to his story was garbage. Assassin's Creed 3 is also a very slow game. You don't even obtain your assassin's cloak until 4 to 5 hours into the game. The first few sections of the game is pretty monotonous, but after that it picks up and it does so fast. The story is great, the world design is on point, and the gameplay was as robust up to that point. Number 3, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood. Assassin's Creed Brotherhood was the follow-up to Assassin's Creed 2, and just like Revelations, this didn't expand the series in any major way. It did feel a lot more actiony with you being able to chain kill after kill upon one another. It made the game a bit too easy for my liking, but that's generally a small complaint. The game still retained all of the core fundamentals that made the prior game so good. The story was engaging, the new characters introduced all had purpose. Brotherhood was also the first game to introduce the Assassin's Creed multiplayer, which initially sounded absolutely ridiculous. How would multiplayer work in a game like this? But it was actually pretty well done. Trying to blend in with the crowds, killing your targets. It's a very unique experience and a nice addition addition to Assassin's Creed. It won't be heralded as one of the best multiplayer experiences of all time, but it's a nice diversion. Number 2, Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. Before Assassin's Creed 4 was released, many were harping on AC getting relatively stale, not adding anything new, etc, etc. Then AC4 was released and it was widely considered as one of the best games in the series. From a technical standpoint, it was outstanding, especially if you were playing on a next generation console or PC. The naval combat and exploration was a very nice addition to the series. The main character, Edward, was also one of the most likable characters in series history, and is arguably as engaging of a character as Ezio. Gameplay was great, content was abundant. Assassin's Creed 4 was a very vast open world game, and one that really proved that if Ubisoft tried, the series can evolve. Finally, number 1, Assassin's Creed 2. Was there really any doubt? Assassin's Creed 2 is widely considered one of the best games of the 7th generation of consoles, and a gigantic improvement over the first Assassin's Creed game. If you look back at sequels in gaming history, very few made the remarkable strides that Assassin's Creed 2 made over Assassin's Creed. The content was much more varied and streamlined to allow the player to tackle objectives at their own pace. Combat was much more refined, and while it did play more like an action game, it worked. The game began the story of Ezio, who is by far the most iconic character in the series, and his story was so well told in AC2. Assassin's Creed 2 is a phenomenal sequel, the kind every sequel should try to be. It's a fantastic game and the best among the Assassin's Creed games. So that wraps up our countdown of the top 10 Assassin's Creed games of all time. What do you think? Which Assassin's Creed game was your favorite? Comment your thoughts down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.